But in pulling on the Soviet Union, Russia never really surrendered. Russia lost a lot of properties that became what you call free through some sort of what they call revolution. But Russia held on to their integrity, and under their leader Putin, they have been under a program of reconstruction, how to regain their world supremacy. Of course, their rival is the Americans and the rest of the Europeans. Right now, the battleground now for who is supreme amongst themselves is in the Ukraine. And the Russians, we're not making any joke about it. They have sent in their military forces to control a little area called the Crimean area. And of course, Russia has a lot of nuclear weapons, and some is in the Ukraine area. So there's a serious tension with the Americans and the Europeans trying to pull the Ukraine into what you call their orbit. And half of the Europeans, half of the people there in Ukraine now, they are craving for the European lifestyle. And there's another half of the country who are loyal to the Russians. So I and I as a black man, and I and I as black people, we must observe, how these tribes, how they resolve their difficulties. Will there be some compromise? Because the Russians are on a path of, conquest again. And the Americans are in a somewhat type of a decline, and though they are piggybacking on Europe to overcome the Russians, we have to watch how this is going to work out. Because the Russians are a different kind of people, as much as they are all Caucasians. The Russians, for example, fight hard against homosexuality. The Russians don't support same-sex behavior. The Russians have a different philosophy. And what the fuck? Much of Russia was built by African philosophy, One of the greatest writers in Russian literature was an African named Pushkin. So maybe there's a little tendency of that culture on them, why they see them fight against that thing so much. So watching the struggle between the former Soviet leaders, Russia, and the attempt to move the Ukraine out of the Russian orbit. And of course, Russia will not really have much part of that. And we're also looking at the United States now and their meeting with the Israelis, because the Israelis are another set of tribalistic Europeans. And they are the only European people that have, Caucasian people rather, that have nuclear weapons in the midst of Arabian people, Arabs and black-skinned people. And they are supported along the lines of their race, because the Americans support the Israelis. This is white supremacy in unity now, These are white people, European people, Caucasian people. And I tell you about the title Caucasian. If you try to check out where that word comes from, how did these European people decide to classify themselves as Caucasian? It really has to do with the Caucasus Mountains. The mountains in the Caucasus Mountain regions. And it's in this area that the mythology of Noah and the story about Noah. This is where Noah's ark landed. And out of that ark came, there's 8 people. And the reasoning is that the pair of people that became the first set of Europeans were called Caucasians, as they dwelled in the Caucasus Mountain regions, that they made that their home. This is a story now, This is a story of 2 of Noah's descendants. Of course, let's tell you that Ham, who was Noah's son, he and his wife actually walked from Ararat to Africa. But that's the only way they could have gotten from Turkey, They had to walk. And when they reach Africa, they begin to populate. This is what we have to accept. This is what we are told to believe. And when we explore the reality, we find that there are a lot of illusions and fantasies. Israelis are unwilling to accept the Palestinians up to today, and they draw reference to the King James Bible to justify their bias and their misgivings. They make reference to King James version of reality, speak about the Palestinians and the Arabs, and they go far back into the Bible to talk about whose lands are given to who, and therefore, so this dispute will never be solved. The only solution will be just war and more war.
I'm trying to find a solution.
Morality is a key to kingdoms remaining intact. The morality. When the morality falls, the kingdom tend to tremble. Yeah, the fibers of a society is built up in the morality, not in the economics. Economics is the engine that drives production. But the morality, the fiber that maintains positive relations between the beings, yes, is important and remains crucial. So societies that tend to violate moralities, naturalities, tend to feel the wrath of nature. Serious thing, because nature have feelings. And if nature is operating in males and females as a normal principle, once there's any form of life who contradicts that, nature going to rebel. Yeah, man. If the snake them start copulate, male snake start go to male snake, will be a problem in the kingdom. And if the female butterfly begin to go to the female butterfly, we're going to have a problem in the insect kingdom. So what will happen in the kingdom of people and in the kingdom of man when they begin to do those things together, where apples are no longer apples, where apples and oranges are coming together to create all different type of hybrid fruits. Zero signs for living.
Babylon trying to find a solution.
Yeah, you know that right across the globe, though, the greatest cry is really the cry against injustice. Yes, unfairness. When the playing field is not level, where people are given jump starts, and where there is no balance in law. You know, that those who have more capital are able to break the law, not only bend it, but they can break it, and they're not penalized. And sometimes we get trapped in the language, not being able to separate punishment from discipline. So we're asking for a disciplined society, but at the same time, when people break the law, we discipline them. That cannot be. We have to make the distinction between discipline and punishment. That when a person breaks the law, you don't discipline them, but you punish them. And you punish them because they lack the discipline to follow the law. So make us stop confuse yourself. Make us stop talk about man want to get discipline and they will thump down the man and get violent and calling that discipline. We're not promoting discipline, we're promoting violence and we're calling it discipline. We have to change the language, you know, we have to cite what we're doing, what we're saying. If a child does wrong, the child should not be disciplined. The child should be punished. And the child must learn the difference between punishment and having discipline. Having discipline means you can toe the line. You know to follow instructions. You become reliable and you're dependable. That is it. That's what it means to be disciplined. So we could shake up the way we approach each other and how we try to resolve our own situation in this country, because even in Jamaica, everything here is topsy-turvy. Enough things talk backwards. And in that backwards talking, we're getting backward behavior. We're getting backward thinking. And we don't state already that thinking can be forward, backward, or sideways. Now we'll come locally now, within the globe and the world issues. There's a serious human rights issue happening right here in Jamaica. Human rights issue. And human rights issue revolve around Rastafari and the use of ganja as a sacrament within the church. And the state laws in Jamaica prevent Rastafari from expressing their religious right, which is a human right to express your religious feelings. So the ganja issue in Jamaica now is so critical, but at the same time, I think we need to wake up to the treaties and the various obligations that the country has. We're talking about decriminalization. It's a topic in Jamaica now. It is hot, and we love hot topics. And we even have programs called Hot Topics, where we just burn the topics them for 8 or 9 days, and then it just turn into ashes. Of course, we know ashes become white, which is a sign of death. The decriminalization process will be very difficult in this island, because Jamaica, as I was reminded by my colleague on the campus, Dr. Horton, that Jamaica is committed to certain treaties. She mentioned one about a great treaty that is linked to Vienna, and there's also a treaty with the United Nations. Jamaica really is taking instructions from the United States. And I think we need to be conscious now that in the United States, the federal government, which is the overarching government of the country, is not in favor of decriminalization of marijuana. It is the various state governments that are going along, Colorado and Washington. So Jamaica cannot follow Colorado. Jamaica cannot follow Washington. Those are two states. The federal government of America is still not in agreement, so Jamaica has to negotiate its way through the federal government and through the United Nations. So decriminalization may not be so readily available as the government would like us to imagine. And for Rastafari to be cheering. There's nothing to cheer about. We should be focusing on hemp. Rastafari should be focusing on the industrialization of hemp, because we want money. We don't want to have enough time. We don't need more space to smoke herb. We want money. And money will not come through the decriminalization of ganja. Obviously, the police force will back off and allow citizens to live a normal life. But in terms of money and wealth, we need a campaign, a hemp campaign. Rastaman must start farm hemp, because out of hemp and the 2,500 products, Rastafari and the black population in general, not just in Jamaica, in the Caribbean, in African countries, why can't we have a global movement by black countries to grow hemp? It could liberate yourself. Factories, from farm to factory. Hemp is the route to our economic liberation. Allow the ganja smoke. Yeah. Decriminalization must be approached so the police can stop terrorizing the citizens. But if we want to accumulate wealth and break the bonds of poverty and run with the IMF, we have to organize around hemp. Yeah, we need a hemp convention, we need some hemp forums, we need some hemp songs, we We need some hemp anthems. We need hemp. It's for the healing of the nation, in truth.
Tell her try your best just to make it quick. Come and tend to the sick. There must be something she can do. This heart is broken in two. Tell her it's a case of emergency. There's a patient by the name of Gregory.
Oh, pull up, Junior. Pull up. Special livicating this tune to all the nurses out there, all the nurses here locally, all the nurses around the planet Earth who give their service to keep the people well, and hailing the special nurse out of the Bronx. We're hailing that nurse, Nurse P. Give thanks for support, and hailing up all the nurses who are right here in Port Antonio Hospital. And of course, we're healing all the day nurses too. Because, you know, you sure have the medicine.
There's a patient by the name of Gregory. Night nurse.
Yo, night nurse. What a guan. What a guan in that cool place. My night nurse.
Getting worse. I don't wanna see no doc. I need attendance from my nurse around the clock.
So as much as the island is struggling, we have the music. Yes, we find ways to create solace. And it is through the music and the artists pressing their consciousness in love and thought and feeling. Yes, the night nurse, Gregory Isaacs, healing up all the nurses, giving thanks for also the doctors and all the people who work at night, taxi drivers. We're not talking about a bad man and a gunman who work at night. All the positive people who work at night. Yes, stay strong. Metamorphosis. Living red, green, and gold.
I'm hurt by love. Position to maintain you the way that you're accustomed to. Can't take you out.
Julio, what's filling out? What a beautiful goal for offside. El Rey. The way that Maradona has been able to do. And he's hurting England again here. This is a brilliant run. It's one of the world's great goals.
Set.
They get away first time. Tyson Gay right alongside Usain Bolt, but here he goes, streaking away already. It's Bolt all the way. He's looking round at Gay. Watch the clock. It's goal for Bolt, and again he's done it again. A new world record for Usain Bolt.
Everybody's a man hustling, bright and early in the morning. Everybody's a man hustling. I know Sergeant Query is waiting. Everybody's a man hustling. I know it's my neck I'm risking. Everybody's a man hustling. But you see that's my daily living. Jump in a minivan, we gonna country. Left me wife and me hungry picnic. Jump in a minivan, we gonna country. Left me wife and me hungry picnic. We have to travel over hills and valleys. good sense. We have to travel over hills and valleys just to find this a good sense. Wrap up a draft with the lawyer. Wrap up a draft with commissioner. Wrap up a draft with the doctor. Wrap up a draft with that big trade.
Okay, Metamorphosis getting into sports, looking at the big ball, football. You know, I am feeling pained for a player who has represented the country in a very respectable way. An outstanding schoolboy player right here in Eastern Jamaica. Played at Marne Bay High School, played at St. Thomas Technical, and has been the franchise player at Harborview FC. Speak about Jermaine Hugh. And you know, Jermaine Hugh has been the victim of a situation, and the man has been left out into the cold. We recall that during the last World Cup campaign, they found some analytical substance in his body after a random drug test, and it was discovered that he was injected by the team doctor with a substance that was not considered legitimate. And so the doctor was heavily penalized. Doctor agreed that he was wrong. He agreed that he gave the player the substance. Asked that the player could get some lenience. Nothing was shown to Jermaine Hugh. So it has been a very, very long time now. And in a real sense now, the man really lose him work. That is the reality of it. The man has been knocked out of his salary. Man is now unemployed. For weeks in, for months going, and we know what it is like in Jamaica to be not employed, because the cost of living rise daily. You know, the grata was 140, and tomorrow, day before yesterday, it was 140, and tomorrow, and today it was 145. And we fear tomorrow morning we go to go and pay 150 for it. So here is a man now who has been living out of the game and has been knocked completely out of the game. And what is tragic is that nobody has come to Jermaine's support or his defense. Nobody has come to challenge the authorities. Nobody has come to present a case. Obviously because maybe Jermaine Hugh is just a little youth out of the eastern rural part of Jamaica. Maybe he don't have no family name. Maybe he has no social connections. He has no political leverage anywhere. He is no, you know, no. So the guy get left alone, and I'm concerned that even the club that he played for, Harborview, has not really put forward a greater effort to sort of resurrect this youth here, because this man is in his 30s now, and pretty soon he will no longer be able to play the game. The point is, what happened to our football players when they can no longer play competitively? What happened to the Jamaican player when he passed 35? What does he do with football? Because we don't have a professional society of sportsmen that will absorb this player. What will happen to our grown men? Obviously, they are going to play Masters League. So they keep playing football. Just keep playing football until they expire. There must be a different way to use the resource. So, within the sporting world now, we find that football, of course, is a key part of the fabric of the society. The team qualified for the World Cup in 1998, and it has become a fixation now on Jamaica to get to the World Cup. That we have lost our vision. Well, we never really had a vision. We had a dream. What we need now is a vision. And the vision would require step by step. Vision require a method. And the method has to be sustainable over a certain amount of period of time. You cannot have a vision for 4 years. Not in world football. You have a dream in 4 years. And you can achieve that dream in 4 years, but we will not have that achievement every 4 years. Dreams don't work like that. And the real world don't work like that. The real world functions on sustainability and consistency. So, to address this weakness, a conference has been put together to address the free fall of the Jamaican national football. Because from 1998, Jamaican national football has been falling every 4 years. It is now in a free fall, and it got its worst level in this last mission to Rio. This is the worst level the Reggae Boys have ever reached in their performance, in their lack of preparation, in everything. So in an attempt to address this vast weakness, there's a football conference being held at the University of the West Indies next month, April 16th and 17th, 2 days. And in these 2 days, all the stakeholders, all people who are interested in the development of the game, the people are being invited to participate in these 2 days of analysis, discussion, presentation of papers. The national coach should be there. Many of the persons in the country, in the media should be there. It is an opportunity to put once and for all a strategy, a reasoned scientific strategy to project the Jamaican national football beyond 4 years. The conference is set out to project Jamaican football beyond 2022. So it is going to provide a scenario that even the political scenario is not accustomed to. Because very rarely do we plan in Jamaica beyond 5 years. This conference will plan the Jamaican football. It will explore football in the other confederations of South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, and our own region, CONCACAF. So through this program, we're inviting all persons who have a love of football, whether you're at the school level, club, administrator, to find the link on the Facebook, Academic Conference on International Football, ACIF. Find out how to participate. Be there for a day or two. This is a way to transform this national love that we have called football. Well, I also want to wrap up this segment by talking a little bit also about Andrew Edwards. Andrew Edwards, otherwise known as Collar, has become Portland's first national coach, appointed by the recent national coach, the German Schaefer. Collar has been appointed as the national under-17 coach. This is a youth coming right out of Love Lane, right here in Port Antonio. This is a youth who played for my school program at Titchfield School, under 16 team. This youth was given a whistle and motivated to go into coaching. This is a youth who went to the University of the West Indies, who returned to his high school, led the team to the finals of the Da Costa Cup competition. He was harassed and hounded out of the program, and out of the school, and out of the parish. And in this chase, Collar ended up in St. Elizabeth and won the Da Costa Cup. Collar moved on to Monroe College, where he's now the coach. And presently now, the Virgin is in Germany. He's at the University of Leipzig doing a coaching course. All credit to Andrew Collar Edwards and the powers of the ghetto, because Collar rise up out of the ghetto. That was part of his problem when he was at Titchfield, because Titchfield has this elitist mentality still and don't really appreciate when ghetto youths rise up, or even when Rastafari present itself as leadership. Well, congratulations, National Under-17 coach coming right out of Port Antonio, right out of Portland. And Collar can't come back here, because there's nowhere to hold him. There's no institution, there's no structure to hold a coach at the national level. So the parish need to shape up itself. Metamorphosis Sports.
Buffalo soldier, dread like a Rasta. It was a buffalo soldier in the heart of America, stolen from Africa,
must also make the comment on the selections of the German Schaefer. He has selected his coaching staff. He has identified, as I said earlier, Andre Edwards as a national under-17 coach. He has also identified a virgin from the Jamaica College coach named Coley. He has appointed him as the under-23 coach and his assistant. This has been a shocking result to the country, expecting that perhaps a more named brand coach would have been put in that position. You see, Schaefer has been here long enough to analyze and assess the coaching fraternity. And I think he went with a younger coach. He went with a coach who had no ego. And what is very unusual about the Schaefer selection of coaches, none of the coaches really came from the Premier League, our Premier League. Perhaps Jerome Waite became an assistant coach at one of those levels. But Schaefer's avoided picking the coaches who were in our so-called Premier League. Because in reality, these coaches are not our Premier coaches. And that league is not our Premier League. The league that is Premier in Jamaica is our school league. It is a Premier League because it is the most sponsored, best trained, best organized, most watched league in the country. So the Schaefer has avoided the Burtis Bells, he has avoided the Maxwell, he has avoided all of the man them who can't bother fight with. He don't want a man to fight with right now. He wants some man who him can teach. He wants someone who willing to ask him questions. He don't want a man come question what him doing. So I think that is a part of the rationale why the so-called name brand coaches were all left out, and coaches who were youthful and had a vision of themselves were drafted into the program. The biggest problem I find with the titles of these coaches now, is a coach title called the Director of Football. They have given the title to Vin Blaine. Vin Blaine was a woman coach, and Vin Blaine was the assistant coach to Schaefer. They have created this post called Director of Football, and they have named Vin Blaine to that post. Now, there is no post called Technical Director in our program. And we were told a couple months ago by Burrell himself that FIFA insists that every team must have a technical director. No, we don't have a technical director. We have a man called the Director of Football. He doesn't even know what his portfolio is. Nobody knows what he's really supposed to do. He has no salary. He has no budget to work on. But him say him go and try with it. And when you realize how the football is being structured, this Director of Football, he is responsible to the president. So the president now becomes the man who the Director of Football respond to. So the technical director doesn't exist. There's a national coach who also reports to Burrell. So Burrell now is the head and the technical director and the president. This is not sustainable. This is not sustainable to develop world football from an island perspective. So the whole thing needs to be properly organized. It can't be run like a bakery. It can't run like a party shop. This is our national resource.
Love and happiness. Yeah. Something that can make you do wrong, make you do right. Yeah. Love. Love and happiness. But wait a minute, something's going wrong. Someone's on the phone, 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, talking about how she can make it right. Yeah.
I got a call on some people who are giving me the text messages. I want to heal up Splash 94.3 FM out there in New Jersey. I want to heal up all the listeners in Orange, Orange East, Orange West, Orange South, Orange Sweets, Orange Sour. We live in Orange, New Jersey. I want to heal up all the people also in Newark, people in Irvington, people who are in Maplewood, people in Glenridge, the people in Union, the people in Hillside, and the people in Montclair. All these people in New Jersey, Iman Blak say, hail to the item. We give thanks that Splash 94 FM is allowing the item to hear the Metamorphosis. We're also healing all the people in the New York area, in Queens, my brother in Vail. I want to heal up people in the Bronx, Alpha H. Yeah? I want to heal people in Brooklyn, people in New Jersey, Connecticut, tri-state area, people in Florida. Big state. People in California, bigger state. And of course, people on the African continent. Yes, in Zimbabwe and in Ghana. Yeah, and in Kenya. Enough people tune in to the Metamorphosis. Of course, people down under, don't drop off. Hold it.
Make you do right, and love will make you do wrong, and make you come home early, make you stay out all night long. Oh, love, wait a minute, let me tell you.
So what is this thing called love that is so powerful? What is this force that has been constructed through literature and called love? Is it about feelings? And what type of feelings justify love? Feelings of security? And if so, security in what? Security in your finances? Or security in your possession? The feeling that you are the total owner. Is that what the love is about? Or is love about sharing? Or is that we can't share everything? So we can be totally loving. Or we can't love everybody. But how do we share out the love now? What about when people love you and you don't love them? What about when you love somebody and the person who you love is not that person you love, but that person loves somebody else? What is this love thing? What is the source of this attraction? Because before there's love, there's attraction. What then is the basis of attraction? Is it physical first? Can it be otherwise? Can we be attracted psychically? Can there be psychic attraction? Can there be cosmic attraction? Can there be cosmic love? You see, we have to move this thing from Hollywood. As Hollywood love them put away, you know. Yes, the African black people now, for us to find love, we have to search ourselves. What is the foundation of our attractions? And some honesty is required. Yeah, man, some thinking in our notion of love is required. Some people love the sex. Does that mean they love the personality? Do they love the eye?
And then I stumbled to the breakfast table.
And there are some people who love to have plenty money around them. And if the money dries up, does the love also dry up? What is the basis of these attractions? Is it sexual and financial? Or is it psychic? can it be cosmic? Yeah, we could elevate this love thing.
If that's not loving me, then all I've got to say.
So step by down there out there and both be texting man telling him that love is genuine attraction. No, we have to source what is it mean to be genuine. Genuine to what? Genuine to your fantasies or genuine to your realities? And when is a feeling infatuation? And when is a feeling not infatuation? We have to explore these notions of feelings now, you know. Yeah, what is the source of these attractions? Does the person make you feel as though you are complete? In other words, is there an absence in you that the person complements? Or is love complementarity? Could that be what love is within the construct of black people? Once we find ones and ones where we find complementarity, can we call that love?
To get away, bring me some back of my to me. She drops what she's doing, and all is never been there, and I'm always away. Well, she sits waiting patiently, smiles when she first sees me, 'cause she was meant that way. And if that's not loving me, then all I've got to say, well, Johnny made the little hours, it don't rain, and empty hours in the winter time. Oh no, there's no such thing as mothers to.
Yes, healing all the people who are linking me to the text lines and to the Facebook thing. Well, I do have a Facebook tonight, but the telephone. So D, you're there. All right, recognize that the eye is there. Grace, also radio text about the difficulties about the people in Canada trying to separate themselves. Enough things going on. But we're searching for love. We're searching for this notion of love, African love. Because the notion of Europe is oppositional and contradictory to African traditions. We need to find African love, not the romantic love. We're not Romans. We are taking ourselves out of Rome. We're putting our consciousness centered in Africa. And if we want to love, we need to have African-tic love. Yeah, African love. How does that look? What does that feel like? Does it mean that somebody is a hunter and then somebody is a prey? Or it means that there's complementarity and sort of reasoning. Yeah, you know, not a kind of Jim Screechy hide and seek behavior where we just express how we feel. What is the basis of our feeling? And we must be honest enough to know, say, it is only sexual. Because a lot of the feelings that are generated are physical. And oftentimes when people go beyond the physical, they don't like what them buck up. Yeah. Because what them buck up is not what them can handle, nor do they even anticipate. Because once you go beyond the physical, you begin to get into the psychological of the person. You begin to see their issues, their fears and their doubts and their anticipations. Enough time people don't like what them buck up. So we have to explore this thing called love and recognize that we can love without sex. Yes, we can love without sex because it's a way of survival. It is really about caring. It's about concerning. Yeah, man, it's about care. At the foundation of the notion of African love is care. And it doesn't take cash to care. It doesn't take money to care. Yeah, it's an attitude. Money assists in buying the things that provide for care. Physical cares, but care goes beyond physicality. It goes into the consciousness of being and knowing and loving. now how do we overcome this thing now called jealousy? Where this thing come from? I mean, I know they have us worshiping a jealous God, you know. Yeah, I am thinking that that is a serious source of the jealousy that runs through black people. We are so committed to this Jehovah God that the traits of this God, we have internalized them. So God is a God of war and is a jealous God. Now when you're jealous, you know, you're insecure. And if you're in a relationship and there's insecurity, it's serious problem. Because doubt creeps in and they watch and peep and no confidence sets up. So there's no relation. You can just crush that. So we're talking about faith, talking about honesty. These are some of the traits that we need to put together now if we're going to talk about love. The idea of owning now, owning. Why is it because you love something you have to own it? How do we link up love with possession? Because a lot of people are in love, but they're really in a state of possession. Some are in a state of obsession. They're obsessed with each other. Or a man may be obsessed with a woman to the point that if you look at the next man, he want to chop off all her head. So we have some serious issues that we need to look at when we talk about love and relationship and care. Because if you love something, you should not suffocate it. Anything you love, you should give it a chance to breathe. Because if it goes away, it will come back. If there is genuine love. You have to allow the thing to go away, man. And allow the force of attraction to work genuinely. The in-stepper, that means if you can't let it go, you're not going to know. And we are generally afraid to let go things. Because Rome tells us that we must hold on. But letting go is a key to your liberation. So we love our children, but can we say that we own them? And why would we want to own children? Why should we want to own people? I thought it by 1838 we should have been happy to know that laws were being put in place where people could no longer own people. Yet we are in this religious construction of relationship. It's all about ownership. And that's a part of the problem now in this African construction of love. That because we have been locked into Christianity and this thing called Christian love. Christian love is driven by jealousy. Jealousy and insecurity. And so the 7 deadly sins manifest themselves within our relations. Jealousy. And the twin sister called envy. Because wherever there's jealousy, there is envy. It's like the lion and the thief. Them are brethren and sistren. So once you adopt the Christian God, who is a jealous God, your relationship is almost doomed. Because you will be governed by jealousy. Nobody can move. The woman can't look for the next man and the man can't look at the next woman. And after jealousy, we move to the stage of envy, where you don't even want the person to have anything now. You don't want it yourself, you know, but them not have it either. So there's jealousy, there's envy, there's wrath, there's grudgefulness, slothfulness. These are all deadly sins. This is the trail psychologically that takes you from jealousy along the path of destruction. So we have to rethink these things now, people. This love construct that they put us into, that is a European-made type of relation. The African people, the African man, before his contact with the Europeans, was a free man. And he was free to be loved by several women. His main objection would be no money. But as long as the man was financially able to finance women, not one, the women would facilitate the relationship. The children of that man and those women would form a community, an economic reality. Yeah, man, not a sex shop, not a harem, but a community of women and children and a king man. Love is what we know. That is the love that we know.
The look of love is in your eyes. I can tell by the way you smile sometimes. Though you might not look like pearl, but you seem to be a very nice girl. Your mom told me that you're not too young to love.
Of Lords and Savior, Lords of Lords and Savior, Lords of Lords and Savior.
The Rastafari lives forever and ever. The Rastafari University of Higher Life Learning. I must say we feel satisfied with our efforts at the library last week, Thursday. Our presentation of 3 lectures, and these lectures now are on DVD. And these DVDs will be posted up on our YouTube site. So for people who are interested in seeing these lectures, you go on our Facebook and you get a link into the Rastafari University of Higher Life Learning. And then you can go to our YouTube site, Rastafari UNIVERCITY, Rastafari University of Higher Life Learning. When you go to that site, our YouTube site, these lectures will be available will be up in another day or two, and you'll be able to listen to these lectures, one by Ras Makonnen, one by Ras Ossa, one by yours truly, Iman Blak. So the work goes on, and we hope to have another event at Lanza's Lawn, perhaps next week Sunday, and at the end of the last Thursday in the month we should be in the library again. So it's all about the building of the Rastafari nation through education and industry. All the time just run. 3 hours just run, 180 minutes just burn up. Dude. There's a time waits on no one. What one has to do is exercise his mind and his desire within time and create events. Because it's the creation of events that defines time. That is the African way of perceiving time. It's a composition of events. And these events move from the present into the past. The past is the final resting place for all events. It's a dimension in which all things rest. So I consistently study the past to give I direction in the present. And ultimately, all things move from the present into the past. Bearing in mind the dimension of the inevitable. Because within the inevitable, things happen. The seasons, childbirth. So our children are not really our future. The children represent the inevitable. Yeah, man. This future talk is distracting. The children are present and they represent the inevitable. So we must take care of our children. That is love.
We are going. This brother, gold and green train. Oh yes, we are golden.
Yo, my joy. Peace unto the eye.
We are
One
golden.
love every time. Metamorphosis, Dr. Iman Blak in studio. Time up, but time continues uninterrupted. Whether we hurry or not, time moves on. Give thanks for another session. All those who have been listening, continue to listen and to explore and search within for that immortal, invisible, internal I. Man Blak, out. Till that time.
One stop. They're gone.
Of course, the Rasta pen is here. Red, green, and gold. Rastafari pen. Available.